Hello and welcome to the Gadgets and Gizmos show on Headlines Today. I'm Siddharth Sharma, and over the next half an hour we've lined up a very interesting show for your tech appetite. Wondering what's up our sleeves? Take a look at the lineup. On the show this week, we have a green smartphone that can click a wonderful selfie. Also, there's a new operating system that's really good. And we go behind the scenes of one of the world's biggest tech giants. Alright, that's our lineup on the show, and first up what we've got for you is highlights from IFA 2014. IFA happens every year in Berlin, where all the tech giants come together on a single platform and launch their upcoming products for the year. So we'll tell you which all products they've launched this time around and what all is coming to India.
As IFA 2014 kicked off in Berlin this week, a lot of new flagship and innovative products were launched by major tech giants from across the world. Here are the big highlights from the IFA 2014. The phablet market was created by Samsung 4 years ago at IFA 2011 when it launched the original Galaxy Note, and since then it has owned the market. Samsung has brought its new refreshed design language to the Note 4, which has an aluminium frame like the Galaxy Alpha. It has retained the 5.7-inch screen size of the Note 3, but has given it a massive resolution upgrade in the form of a Quad HD resolution, 2560 by 1440 pixels. The phablet uses the fastest ARM-based mobile CPU in the market in the form of the Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 chipset clocked at 2.7 GHz. In India, Samsung sells its Exynos-based devices. So it is likely that here the company will launch the Note 4 powered by Exynos processor. The Note 4 has 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage and a micro SD card slot that supports up to 64 GB of storage. Samsung is going big on photography with the Note 4. It will be coming to India in October 2014, and don't expect it to be priced anything less than 50,000 rupees. With Apple expected to unveil its smartwatch on the 9th of September, Sony announced Smartwatch 3, a wearable device powered by Android Wear. The watch is part of Sony's SmartWear range of devices. The watch was accompanied by Smart Band Talk, a band with e-ink display and LifeLog app that will help users record and organize their activity in real time. Both the smartwatch and the band support Sony's voice control feature that will allow users to control the devices through voice commands. For now, Sony has not announced specific price or launch dates for these two gadgets. Samsung also came out with the Note Edge with a curved display. It has a 5.6-inch screen, but the resolution is Quad HD+. The name of the device comes from the screen where the right edge of the screen folds to cover the side of the device. Basically, on this curved edge of the smartphone, users get quick access to frequently used apps, alerts and device functionality even when the cover is closed or the screen is locked. Something innovative for sure from Samsung. Sony also came out with the new Xperia Z3 smartphone and a compact variant to it. Sony Xperia Z3 sports a 5.2-inch Full HD display. Powered by 2.5 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, Adreno 330 graphics and 3 GB RAM, the phone comes with 16 GB internal storage and a micro SD card slot that supports cards up to 128 GB. It runs Android 4.4 KitKat with Sony's custom UI running on top. The waterproof and dust-resistant phone sports a 20.7 megapixel rear camera and a 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera. Sony has not revealed the pricing and availability of the two phones, but they are expected in October with a massive price tag, of course.
Alright, now that there's plenty to look forward to from IFA 2014, it's time for us to click a selfie with this. This is the new green machine from Sony. This is called the Sony Xperia C3. Sony says that this is a selfie smartphone. We'll find out whether it's good or bad, but first, let's take a look at its specs. The Sony Xperia C3 comes with a 5.5-inch IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen, which translates into a resolution of 720 by 1280 pixels. The Sony Xperia C3 is equipped with a 1.2 GHz quad-core Cortex-A7 processor and a Qualcomm MSM 8926 Snapdragon 400 chipset. It comes with 8 GB of internal memory, which can be expanded up to 32 GB via a microSD card. The Sony Xperia C3 runs on Android KitKat operating system, which is loaded with Sony's own UI. The phone also sports a 8-megapixel primary camera with autofocus and LED flash. The secondary camera on the device is a 5-megapixel one, also with an LED flash. The Sony Xperia C3 comes with a lithium-ion 2500 mAh battery and is priced at Rs 23,990. Alright, those were the specs on the all-new Sony Xperia C3, so let's begin with the review. Design-wise, this is a pretty fragile phone, but nonetheless designed with Sony's industrial design quality. At the back you get this nice mint green color, and of course the finish is matte, so it's not a fingerprint magnet like the Sony Xperia T2. It is thin, it is lightweight, weighs just 150 grams, though at times it feels a little fragile, but it's not. It's quite a sturdy smartphone, and design-wise, this is on the money. Now the bezels on the Sony Xperia C3 are thin, and the screen dominates the front of the Sony Xperia C3. It's got a 5.5-inch 720p resolution IPS LCD display, which is quite good, not as crisp as you would like a big smartphone to be, but 267 ppi of pixel density is good enough to watch videos, play games, and even surf the internet. So overall the display is quite clear, bright, and of course it's not that reflective as well, so under sunlight it's pretty bright and clear. So screen wise, display wise, this is on the money as well. Now Sony Xperia C3 is a dual SIM smartphone. It is priced a little higher than other dual SIM smartphones that you might get in the market. It's priced at almost Rs 23,990. But here's the good part. It's powered by a 1.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor, which is a quad-core processor backed by 1 GB of RAM. It is the same processor that you get on the Moto G as well. So performance-wise, this smartphone does not lag at all. Multitasking is smooth enough, and of course the screen size is just beautiful. So overall, you know, there's a lag-free experience, and of course Sony UI is on it. It runs on Android 4.4 KitKat. So everything it has going for it. And performance-wise, this has no issues at all. Now the USP of the all-new Sony Xperia C3 is the camera on it. It has a primary 8-megapixel camera. I know it's not much of megapixels thrown into a phablet sized smartphone over here, but the 8-megapixel camera is quite good. At the back you also get an LED flash for clicking images in low lighting conditions. And of course, low light images are not that great on this device, as any other smartphone also has to offer. But the main USP of the smartphone is the front camera on it. This is a selfie smartphone that Sony is promoting called the Xperia C3. So they've put in a 5 megapixel front facing camera on it, and in addition to that you also get a LED flash, which is one of the first things that you'll notice on the front of the smartphone. So every time you're clicking a selfie in low light conditions, all you have to do is press, and there you go, the flash pops up and you can get those low light selfie images. The front 5 megapixel camera delivers very nice selfies, and they're crisp and sharp too. So nonetheless, this is a very good selfie smartphone indeed. Now with the 2500 mAh battery on the Sony Xperia C3, it does not last you an entire day. So battery performance is not that great on this smartphone, considering it's got a huge screen, it's got an above average processor on it, but battery is just 2500 mAh, which is a bit on the lower side. They could have put in a little more battery on it, and this would have been a winner for sure. All in all, for a price tag of Rs 23,990, this smartphone is a bit expensive for what it has to offer in the market right now. It's just got an above average processor, just like the Moto G. Of course, it's a good processor, no doubt about that. But to pay that price for just a good, brilliant selfie camera, which works and is practical in all purpose, I think it's a bit too expensive. Our suggestion to you would be wait for the prices to drop and then go for the all-new Sony Xperia C3. For now, it's a bit expensive, but nonetheless, a good smartphone indeed. Now, there's a notion going around that a lot of people who work for big tech companies are usually nerds and geeks stuck to their desk churning out algorithms. But how true is it? We thought, why not pay a visit to Google's India office and find out for ourselves?
Well, in fact, in a way, it's just like that. This is the new Google office that opened up for business in Gurgaon. From the outside, it looks like any other office building. Dull, boring and regular. But the real fun is actually inside. Spread across 7 floors, this is an office filled with geeks with a pinch of fun in it.
When I was interviewed for Google and I got through, I'd read a lot about it in papers, and I was skeptical about if that can exactly be the same. And when I entered in the office on my first day, I realized, I was starting to realize that everything is so true, and it's been 3 years and nothing has changed, it's only become better.
Now with a cafeteria like this that has a live kitchen, all you can eat lunch is an understatement in a way.
This is not my office. This is my second home. It's a place where it's not like your traditional dull, boring offices which just have lines of desks. People come in the morning, go in the evening. No, I don't think that's my notion of an office.
Google employees manage their work-life balance easily, as the company does take care of many of those small little things that matter. Like if you're working late and want to have a quick afternoon nap, hop into one of these bunk beds. For innovative and creative thinking, the breakout areas and game rooms are a big help.
The people here are incredibly awesome. You're working with some of the best people you can ever think of. They're incredibly smart, so you're constantly challenging yourself to meet their level, to be at their level.
There are also these think boxes where the employee can spend some solitary time to get things in perspective. Unlike offices where chairs go up and down, the desks at Google do a vertical lift-off so that employees can choose to either sit and work or stand and work. And if you don't feel like working at your desk, pick up the laptop and move to a more comfortable, bright breakout area.
Everyone is allowed to decide what would be a perfect work-life balance for them. So it doesn't really work for Google because we are encouraged to work on the hours that where our productivity would be best. So if I think at 8 o'clock my family demands my time for an hour, then I can actually come to office at 9 and work an hour extra, or take a break in between. So there are actually a lot of facilities that help us optimize our lives, and that really impacts our productivity. It increases productivity, it increases excitement, and you can basically forget everything that is happening outside of office and work here, because they make life so comfortable in office that you forget everything outside.
And to take care of the overall fitness and health of the employees, Google does have a gym, a spa, a massage room, and even yoga rooms for their employees. No wonder this place is like a second home to them.
I really enjoy the fact that there's so much of open light, the fact that your desks are adjustable in terms of height, the fact that you can take a break and go play any game that you want. There's a host of games, there is a gym, there's a spa. It's really up to you, and as long as you do your work, it doesn't matter where you're doing it from, how you're doing it.
Google is not the only company that has an exciting workplace. Companies like LinkedIn and Facebook also offer similar work cultures. But there is no doubt that Google is one fun place to work, whether you're a geek or a nerd. But that does not mean that they do not take their work seriously. After all, it's hard to imagine a world without Google in this day and age.
Next up on the show, we have a smartphone that can fit anyone's budget. It runs on the latest Firefox operating system and costs just rupees 1,999. Take a look. This is the Intex Cloud Fx, and this one is an affordable smartphone. The Intex Cloud Fx has a price tag of rupees 1,999 and is one of the best bet for a lot of people to access the internet. The phone has a 3.5-inch HVGA touchscreen, which is not that great, but look at the price tag and you can't get better than this. Intex Cloud Fx runs on the Firefox operating system. This operating system at the moment is best suited for people looking to upgrade from a medium-range feature phone to a full-fledged smartphone. Intex Cloud Fx is powered by a 1 GHz processor and is not a very power-hungry smartphone. It does not need a high-end processor. The phone is a little sluggish at times though. The camera on the Cloud Fx is also something not to boast about. It houses a 2-megapixel camera that is just good enough to click an image. The image results are not that great either. The 1250 mAh battery is good enough and lasts you a day easily. For a price tag of rupees 1,999, this is not a bad smartphone at all. And the operating system is definitely a breath of fresh air. And with that, it's time for us to say goodbye on this edition of Gadgets and Gizmos show. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, tweet us at HLT Gizmos. You can also email us on htg@aajtak.com. We'll see you same time, same place next week. But for all the news and updates, keep watching Headlines Today.